Okay, good afternoon, gents. Hope everyone is well. It is the 1st of August. Man, aren't the months flying? It doesn't seem 5 minutes since Christmas. So I hope everyone is okay, alive and kicking. Just looking at this possibility of a bigger channel here. There is a leg down and there's sort of two legs up there. So I think it's likely it's going to come and hit this measured move. So it seems to be holding there. You can't deny that. So maybe we'd look for a lower high. I don't know. Not sure what your thoughts. I don't like the fact that when we've come down here, we haven't come a bit lower. So it's a bit hard to work this one out. So we'll have to just keep an eye on this. Now there is some news in about 30 minutes. So what have we got in this morning? Okay, Ionis, how you doing? Growl Daddy, what's up, traders? What afternoon? How are you, mate? So I hope everyone is alive and kicking. Tough day again yesterday, but I did manage to stay away for the day. I just didn't enjoy yesterday. It was tough. I got into not a brilliant trade earlier on and was 250 down over my account, so I did manage to stay out. I had a look at it. I did have a browse throughout the afternoon, but how's the cricket going? Not too bad, actually. It was a draw, but the third test, we were thrashing Australia and we would have won. Unfortunately, we had a day and a half of rain, so we never got to play that out. Otherwise, we would have won. So it was like a moral victory yesterday. So, but it's on for like 5 weeks, so you get all hyped up and you get into it every day, and then when it finished, it's like sort of Christmas when you're a kid. When Christmas overdone with, you get a bit miserable after, don't you? But I kind of don't like it when it's all on. You're all in the middle of the hype of it, and then all of a sudden it finishes. So, but yeah, it was a moral victory. That's the main thing. The Australians didn't see it that way. They saw it as a win. I've been having a bit of banter with some of them on the Facebook groups, but there you go. There you go. It is what it is. Sometimes that's the way it happens. So, Chris, how you doing? Hi, Lance. You have different bars from. Okay, let me just reload my historic. See if this is any better. Exponential trader. How you doing, bud? Okay, see if this makes a difference. How's that look? Any better? The trouble is, obviously, the data comes from the servers wherever they are. I'm assuming they're in the US somewhere. Looks good now. Excellent. Yeah, so you don't know. I suppose if it gets to my computer before yours, that slight difference. I mean, I suppose we're talking milliseconds, aren't we? But I suppose it can make a difference. So we'll see how we get on anyway. But you know, I was just chatting with someone on Facebook last night. The days are just getting tougher and tougher. The setups are getting few and far between. I don't remember it being this bad last year. I really don't. So I don't know what's changed. Now, what I will say is obviously we've had the COVID bubble, haven't we, over the last few years. So whether, you know, I don't know what happened last summer. Was there any of it left, or did we more or less through it? You just don't know whether a lot of people didn't go away as much because of COVID. And now, obviously, we sort of seem to be clear from COVID. Okay, market's officially open. We seem to be clear from COVID. Maybe people are just making a bit more effort to go away. So, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So, let's see how it goes on. Maybe there's a spike in channel there. Who knows? It's a bit early yet. Let's just drop that down the bottom. Sometimes it's a bit easier and that kind of fits. So let's have a look. It's possible, isn't it? Trouble is, it's not that difficult to join 3 points. 3 points of contact. It's not rocket science, is it? So, bottom's fitting quite nice. Hey JP, how you doing? Ranwolf, how you doing? Looking at the clock at the top of your chart would indicate a 3-second lag for me. That's not too bad at all. I went up yesterday. In fact, I had a few teething problems with it last night for some reason. But I went up to gigabit last night. So, just out of curiosity, let's have a look. Let's just have a little look. Okay, this is my current speed. Let's just move that over so you can see. Okay. So my current download speed is over 900 megabits per second. That's gone up 20 times. So, but the most important one, especially for streamers, is the upload speed. My upload speed was usually around between 11 and 13 megabits of upload speed. So that's a massive difference. We're talking the best part of 900 there. It's been over that. So, and that's gone up from around an average of maybe 12 megabits per second to 840 megabits. So that's the beauty. Makes life a lot quicker. So there we go. Not a great idea to showing your IP. Did I not? I don't know. I don't know how it works. Yeah, Max said what normal trading looks like. The COVID period spoiled us. Oh, is that what it is? Oh, great. So this is what it's actually like now, is it? Great. I didn't think I showed me IP, did I? I don't know. I don't understand it all. Let's remove this for now. Okay, maybe we've just had this channel and we've had a break and we bounced a few times here and now we're pushing up. So I kind of like that. We've had a break. High and low, but we've hit these highs. So nice higher low, second entry long. I just looked at that there. Trouble is, we've got a little bit of how far are we going to go up? That's what I'm just concerned. We're in a bit of a channel. Whether we are or not, I don't know. Not only that, we had this channel. We had a break and we've had a new high. I was considering going in on a limit order. See what this ends up like. The bit that's concerning me. The bit that's concerning me is, in fact,
order
let's go on a
filled.
limit order. I do like it. We've come off these bottoms. It looks like a bottoming pattern. So we'll see. So that was it. So that actually was a second entry long and it was a higher low.
Order filled.
There we go. Okay. I wanted to see what happened here. We started to pull back a bit here, but when we had that one, it was sort of a tick and a half off its highs. I thought, actually, it's not that bad. Now, this to me, I don't think there's a channel. This to me is a leg down. In fact, it's moved a bit. Maybe a two-tier channel or something. Yeah, maybe something like that. We've had a break, couple of pushes down, and this to me looks almost like a bottoming pattern. So we got a leg up. We had sort of one leg. It was sort of like a couple of legs, and I expect another leg up. So I missed it for talking in the end, but when we had that pullback, I got in on a limit order. I don't know whether I saved anything, did I? Where did I get in? Here. So I think I got in one tick above it anyway. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, I got in one tick above it anyway, so that's okay. So 225 up. Let me just check all my accounts are up. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, I took the second entry long at one point. Yeah, see, there was that one, wasn't there? What happened? It didn't push up, did it? It came across, went down, then pushed up. So, yeah, let's have a look. It actually is a second entry long, isn't it? Is that a second entry long or not? First entry. I've just gone blank a minute. I can't. So for me, we have a leg up, we have a break, we push up a bit more and we make a higher low, and that's what I kind of like. I'm trying to look for more of those so that we might get it looks like we're probably getting. What I liked about it is I would say we're probably pushing up in a higher channel now, and that would look nice. So that's why I kind of liked it. And I was umming and ahhing with, don't forget there's new, yeah. I'm umming and ahhing about a bigger channel there, but I don't think it is. That looks like a channel break and a couple of legs down to a new low. And not only that, if you look there, and I did it just before it, came on the stream. Whether you put it there, something like that, it looked like a measured leg down. And that to me looked like a bit of a bottoming pattern. So we pushed up above the EMA, came back. So there's a first entry. So that's just signal bar, is it? I class that as a high or low. I've just gone blank a minute. That's not the second entry, is it? Hold on a minute. Yeah, once it ticks below, once it breaks up, there's your second entry. Okay, so second entry and a high or low, and we had a leg up there, so I'd expect another leg. Now, I kind of missed it initially, and then I saw it come back, and I had a better look, so I'd at least expect to get up to there, which may be up here somewhere, so it worked out okay. What was the risk? It's 2 points. That was a fair size bar, actually. 2.75, tick above, tick below. It's a 3.25 risk. ATR's a bit higher. Yeah, Ramwolf, I was just going to type... there it is. What time is it? 1300, isn't it? 1500. Yeah, it looks like a leg and a leg there. So we may bounce and we may continue up, who knows. So it's the first time for a while I've been in there with a trade that quick. Entered. Oh, you entered here, did you? Oh, you got in a little bit lower. I saw it come down and I was umming and ahhing about it, and it finished and this dropped and started pushing up. So I say I got in on a limit order. I got in one tick above it, which is where you'd normally get in anyway. But, you know, when you're umming and ahhing. But we had a leg up here. I think the bit that got me interested, the bit that was umming and ahhing, I wasn't sure about a bigger channel there, but I don't think it is. And I remembered I marked a measured leg. And this, to me, looks like a bottoming pattern. And this pushed up straight through the EMA. So whether that would have... see, what I've noticed, it often starts to push up after it's trapped some shorts. So whether I don't know, you may call this like a hidden second entry. So that did nothing. And do you remember what got me yesterday? That didn't trigger. And then we had another bearish bar. Do you remember the trade I got in yesterday? We had one bearish bar and I left it. And then we got another bearish bar. So it's almost giving you, teasing you to get in. And the second you think, oh, another one's bearish, the second you get in, what happens? It triggers below you and then pushes up. So once it triggers above these, for me, we're pushing up, and with this bottoming pattern. So I think it's a nice way in that. If you, I mean, if you did get in there, it's a small bar. I prefer it to push below. But if you did get in there, it didn't trigger. It moved over, came back down, and then triggered and pushed up. So it worked anyway. So let me have a look. That is a second entry long. But it's not like two legs, is it? It's probably going to work up. But I tend to not like this first push out. It looks like a little leg there, so it may. Let's have a little look. There are times where I take that. The bit that's concerning me is it's one leg, two leg. But also it's a little sort of micro channel there, so we may have a break and a new low. Depends how strong this is, really. I'll tell you what, sometimes you get in there and they push up. Sorry, they trigger and then come straight back down other times. So that might be a leg and a leg now. But you could possibly say there's a small break there. So maybe that's a leg with a little break. But you like to see two legs, don't you, really? Whereas here, that was a leg. And then sort of another leg. Two pushes down. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if that does come down. Yeah, high or low might be the better option. But it's... I think you made a couple of points out of it. Nothing there, just one... Yeah, that's what I mean, one leg down. I like to see. The only reason I may get into stuff like that is if we've got a massive, big, strong trend. Yeah, I'll be surprised if that doesn't trigger that. If it makes a high or low without stopping that out, I don't think it's a bad trade. But, yeah, remember, we have got that news coming up. and I've got in with a nice trade, which is the first time for quite a while I've got in that quick, and I don't want to chuck it away. But in saying that, if I do see a setup, I don't want to be scared to take it either. Okay, there is a one leg and another leg. I mean, technically it's a third entry, but it's clearly a leg down. But that, to me, is just a bit risky, I think. I would prefer it to drop below and push up. But that's held and that's held. But I wouldn't be surprised if it triggers below and takes both out. There may be a bit of a spike in channeling. I'm just looking where the backside's taken. Okay, so we've got a leg down and another leg. That looks a little bit more appealing. But it is a tiny bit congested there. Something doesn't feel right about this. And we are getting closer to the news. Last thing I want to do is get stuck sideways. That, to me, looks a little bit congested. Now, at the moment, I've just got to be super careful. Because I've had a nice start and it'd be a shame to cock it up. So we've had a leg up there. There is a measured leg. Medium news in 2 minutes. Yeah, they don't tend to play a massive part, but sod's law, now you take a trade. They will do. So okay, so we've had a leg there and we've had a leg there. Now that is... okay, that's quite close, see. Yeah, it's clearly going a bit sideways here. If you got in there, you may be safe there, but I just that's the trouble. You don't want to get into it. Fortunately, if you did get in there, it didn't trigger you. But I don't know, something just looked like it was going a bit sideways here. Now I did just adjust that chart. I've already adjusted one, so I don't know how comfortably I'm adjusting it again. So it may be a couple of legs, and maybe I don't know. Possible some more down, I don't know. I don't think there is a bigger channel there. Yeah, I'm not convinced. Maybe there's a spike in channel. So there is a possibility we could have a leg and a leg and then some more downward stuff, but at the moment I'm unsure what's going on. There is a leg there and there could be another leg here, so maybe we are going to push up, but I think the safe bet at the moment is to just stay out at the moment. I took it on the engulfing too. That one there, yeah. I waited for it to come back, actually. I ummed and ahed here, and then when it pushed up a bit, I jumped in, because what I will say, a lot of the times when you see these bottoming patterns, and I've got into these trades before, you could argue there's a hidden second entry there. You could argue it's, you know, so if you put your stop there, you put your order there, and it doesn't trigger, and then it pushes up. And I did exactly the same thing yesterday. I got into a trade yesterday. Do you remember? I forget where it was. We had a little downtrend, and then we had a couple of legs up. The first one I didn't take because it was too far from the EMA, but then we had a lower high. Or was it lower high? It may have been one tick lower, and then I got in, and then it triggered me. So a lot of the times when that does trigger you and traps the shorts, we do get that movement up then. So I'm starting to notice that more and more, and that's the beauty about getting trapped and losing trades. Okay, we've got a leg down and a leg down. So maybe we're pushing higher, but for me at the moment, I mean, there could be a fail breakout here. I'm just extra cautious at the moment. My accounts haven't grown that much. I think my accounts grew $400 last week, which is not a lot. I've had accounts going up $400 in a day, but I had 5 wins maybe and a couple of losses. I don't know, but it was about $400 up, which is not a huge amount. So when I start up with a nice trade, I tend to get a bit extra cautious, which is a good thing. So there's a leg down. It does look like a leg and a leg, I've got to say. So maybe a higher low. The trouble is it may come up, trigger you, and then piss around in this up until the news. So I don't know what news this is. Some news just doesn't nothing, but others does. In fact, do you remember the news the other day? We actually had a setup right bang on the news and it would have worked lovely. Now, I'll tell you what else I'm seeing here as well. Okay, mark my words. This is what I'm seeing. One leg with 2 legs of correction and another leg. So for me, I would say we are going to do that. Now this again is a Penguin trader. Now Penguin got on the same trade as me. Unfortunately for me, he had his high where that next high was up here, which it made it. I took my high right up into the previous ones, so I've still got a lot to learn if I'm going to start to take some trades like the Penguin guy. Which is why I tend to maybe just mark them. Or obviously yesterday I had an evaluation which was low anyway, so I used that. But yeah, I mean, we'd had some highs up here, and he came out. In fact, he skunked his trade, but it would have worked. What I should have come out is that previous high, but I left it for the highs further back here, so it would have worked. Okay, so we got a leg and a leg. That's a higher low for me. This is looking like one leg up with the 2 legs of correction and another. So I've just moved the wrong one, actually. This is what I expect to happen. So that for me is what I would say the Penguin's going to do. He'll wait for it to push up. I'm just going to change those colours just so I'm aware of it later. I was going to change them Penguin colours, but Penguins aren't penguin. Okay, yeah. It is a high low. It's not a brilliant one, but it's congested. It's probably because of the news, but ordinarily a leg up with two legs of correction, not take this one, and then take the high low, and then usually we move up. And that is where he usually takes is 2 points. Is 1 to 2. So his risk 1, make 2. I was going to say maybe he'd wait for it to push above the EMA, and then take a trade and put his stop here. But obviously we've got the news, so it's not quite going to have the same effect, I don't. Decent signal bar, but no trigger. Yeah, I mean, it's clearly a leg up and 2 legs, and we see this all the time. And I kind of like talking about it because it drums it into my head that this is what I'm seeing: leg up, 2 legs of correction, and another leg up. So whether the Panda guy will get, I mean, we can't really judge this exactly the same because obviously we've got this news coming up. So not that it might continue up, but it's looking like it's starting to work, isn't it? But we shall see. Okay, so maybe if this finishes bullish, it's where he would have put it in. I don't know. We'll see. Your bars still looking the same as mine, are they? Assuming the speed's still the same as it. See, there is a possible second entry short there, which is bouncing off the bottom. So whether that will come down or whether it'll trigger below it and push up. So that's the thing about trading. It's not just looking for a setup, it's looking at the context of the market. Is there some sort of a bigger channel, and we've had a leg out, and we've had a break, a leg up and a leg, and then we're continuing down to make new lows? It's a possibility. I can't see anything which floats my boat. But if it's not, if it's just a channel and a break, a couple of legs down to a new low, and then a move up, maybe this is just a break and a possible another leg up or a bigger channel of some sort. It's possible. So possible failure. If that was a bit bearish, maybe you'd have some shorts trapped. Okay, see after that, I would say that if that finishes bullish, that would be likely where the penguin guy puts his. I'm not taking. No, absolutely not. But we have got a leg and a leg, and it is getting higher. So this is just out of curiosity, but I would guess if that finished bullish, that's where I would expect him to put his order. And that would be around about 3.5 points, which is not huge for the penguin. I've seen 5 points on some of his. But obviously the news is... Do you know, I can tell usually how important this news is likely to be by looking at Bookmap, because sometimes if you look at Bookmap on the big chart, not the compressed one to the side, it just goes black all of a sudden. So lots of people come out of their trades, and at the moment there's still lots of levels of liquidity. So I would guess, based on what I can see at the moment, maybe people aren't expecting this to have a massive impact on the markets. But then seeing this congested for the side, maybe as it is. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, folks. I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a cup of tea. Clearly not trading this, and we've got the news coming up in just over 6 minutes. So I'm just going to make a cup of tea quickly. I'll put me back in 5 minutes. Quick cup of tea and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, news, 1 minute, 30 seconds. So there could be a bigger channel working. It's possible. Let's just change the colour of that one so at least we know. Okay. Still holding. So that's good. I am expecting it to push up, but so far so good. Okay, yeah, looking on Bookmap. You can see it all goes black here. It didn't initially, but it has now. So you can see a lot of the liquidity. You can see that was back there. A lot of liquidity just gets sucked out of it. So everyone, I'm assuming, just comes out of any trades. So not a massive spike, but a fair spike. If you notice, I mean, it started here, didn't it? You know, quite a bullish push, but it's weird how it works. It seems to drop, then push up. So you think if it's good news, it would move up. But it always seems to go up and down, so it's almost hard. Even if you wanted to try and trade that and get a bit lucky, it doesn't matter whether you went bullish or bearish. Your stop was nearly 4 points. It doesn't matter bullish or bearish. It seems like you'd have got taken out. So let's see if this holds now. So let's put that there and bring that over. So it's holding here. The line's holding anyway. So maybe there's a bigger channel. It's a leg up with a two-legged correction. It's making perfect sense to me. We see this all the time. And after we get this 2 legs, this is the area that obviously, that we're looking for trades. But unfortunately, we came into the news, which is bloody frustrating because we had the same thing yesterday. 5 points done. Where'd you get in, mate? Did you get in 5 points from here or down here? It is 2 legs down, so if you know what you're doing, I don't see a problem with trading that one, obviously, with the news. In fact, I didn't even check how nice those legs are. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, pretty good. You can't argue with that, can you? Right on the nail. So, it is look like it's holding. So, I don't know, maybe... No, you do. These bars are quite big, aren't they? But it does. I'd like to get that ETR a bit lower. Yeah, there is liquidity starting to come back in at 10 and 12, so I do expect that to get higher. Maybe a leg and a leg on it. We'll see. Okay, there's some there. And some at 12. So I would suggest that it's holding there nice, and as long as that holds, that will be a second entry long. And it seems like a leg and a leg. But I'd rather just give it 5 minutes to sort itself out. I kind of like that. But what I would suggest, I think it's okay that I'm leaving it because it's kind of a big bar and it is a little bit this. So I think it just might add a little bit of risk to it. But by the looks of things, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's 3.5 points, tick below 4 points. It's more than I want to risk at the moment. And it is sideways, and we have just had this news, so it could still mess you around. I'd say the way it's gone, and it's sit on there. We didn't draw that bar just now, that channel now. We had that channel drawn. So I think that's okay to take. Maybe if you take a retest or something, but trouble is sometimes that news can linger on a little bit. Yes, if you're in that trade now, your arse will be going to be shaking. So it may just come down and retest this, but I don't know. This, I think that's okay. I think that's going to push up, mate, your points. If you have a quick look at the, see the picture we're drawn here, the leg and then the leg. If you look, it's a bit more clear on the 10,000 tick chart. We've got a leg and a leg, which is just a sort of a slightly overall bigger picture of all this. And it does look like it's just retesting this top, but we'll see. Okay, this the bottom of this channel has held beautifully, in all fairness. You can't argue with that. I mean, that's perfect, just bouncing off beautifully all there, so it'd be interesting to see whether that stop holds. And normally a bar like that, straight off here, second entry long, would be really nice, and it may hold. But just because of the fact that we've had the news, and it is in a little bit of congestion, it just makes it a bit. I don't like the way that's coming down. I wouldn't be shocked if that took that stop out, and I wouldn't have expected that normally, and it may be because of the news that's happened. Okay, yeah, that'd have been a real shame there if I'd have got in that trade. That's why I left it, because in all fairness, it's a big bar. Okay, so you'd have got a point out of that maximum, and you'd have risked 4 points. It's just too much, that. So it's a 3.5 point risk, tick above, tick below, 4 points. That's just too much, that is. And that's a shame there, because the way with that news, it's still held beautifully there. So you would think that bar would then really start to work, but it just goes to show you are best to let it settle itself down. Now, I'll be accused of jumping in the past. Now, I must say at the moment, with an evaluation, I'd have quite likely have took that one. But on a PA account, I'm just extra cautious. Especially that loss yesterday. I've managed to get it all back by $25 and the fees. So, yeah, you might be right, mate. That's a shame, that, because that was fitting absolutely beautifully. I mean, the channel might be okay, in all fairness. It might just be the news. I mean, this may be just a break and a push up. I'd still like to see that. We've had a break here, and it's so far, it may still push up. It might just be a break, and if it pushes up, I'd still, it could still, I mean, in all fairness, let's have a look at this now. There is a possibility that we could have something a little bit, I'm not a massive fan of the shallow ones, but it is possible we could just be going up a little bit less steep, or perhaps it's just because of the news we've got a break. Obviously, news can send it off in any direction, can't it? Excuse me, I'm eating at the time as well. So that may trigger. I still think this is going to push up. I might be wrong. I'm just looking at the 10,000 tick chart. We've had a leg, and at the moment prices are holding, so it could just be. I'd like to see that. If that triggers and it pushes up above that for me, then this is a break and we're pushing higher. So we'll see. Okay, so that's triggered now. So we may have a couple of legs down, and it may come down. The news might have just changed the dynamics, but if that pushes up above this, for me, I'd say we're likely to get a new high. And maybe there is a slightly less steep channel there. I'm just going to feather this out a bit. Just gets a bit too complicated otherwise, too confusing. And I'm going to darken that one because that's the channel I took that trade in. Okay, so yeah, see, after that channel and 2 legs of correction, I fully intended it. I thought that would push up, and in all fairness, it was looking like it was going to up to the point we had the news, and it almost looked like it had held there. But this is a couple of legs down, so we still may push up. Where you draw that is simply the retest. Where you draw. I'm not sure what you mean there, bud. Bigger channel looks no good. Well, it was there for the time being. I mean, it's clearly touching here. It's clearly playing a part here, isn't it? And we had a leg up there with 2 legs of correction. I'd have fully expected that to work up here, but I know sometimes things change. Sometimes news changes things. Hard to say. Sometimes maybe it was just a leg. I don't know. It's hard to tell. The uncoloured channel isn't valid. Okay. It is the break and the new high of the separate channel. Don't expect a retest of the uncoloured. Okay. So that's channel up there. We had 2 legs of correction, and to me that looks like it's pushing up. And that's a lot of the time what would happen. But obviously we had the news, and now it's dropped. So whether this because of the news, I don't know. Maybe it's had a break and a new high, but I see this so many times. We have a leg up, we have 2 legs of correction and another leg up. And the reason I pay particular attention to it is because I watch how the Penguin guy takes his trades. And that's how he bases a lot of his trades on. We have a leg, 2 legs of correction and another leg. It's pushing up, yeah, but for a retest. Well, you don't know that for certain, do you? Not for the formation of a new channel. Well, I'm not saying it's a new channel, but what I'm saying is we had a leg up. In a lot of cases, we'll have 2 legs of correction, and then we'll have another leg up, which will be a measured leg. So whether it works in that channel or a set, I do based on how prices are. Sometimes I need to not focus on the what's it's because you almost get into arguments with people. I see this all the time. We have a leg, we have a 2-leg correction, another leg, whether it's a separate channel or not. I haven't drawn it as a separate channel. I've drawn this as a bigger channel, and it's holding there, so we'll see. Yeah, he probably doesn't mean it sort of nastily. But I mean, I see this a lot, and I look for it because I see how the penguin guy, and that's the type of trades he take. He push up, 2 legs of correction, and another leg. So I'm looking for a measured move, not necessarily another channel. I just put that there out of interest, just out of interest when it started this. But if you look at all those bars there, they're clearly responding to that line. So I would have expected it. I don't know for certain, but I would have expected it to push up. So then we have our measured leg. So this is the type of area with a leg down, with a couple of legs of correction, where I'd like to take a trade. Obviously, I stayed out of it because of the news, but so it doesn't look like that's. Oh, that's all right. So. Caught a few points on the NQ. Good for you, mate. How you doing, Brick? That's me. I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you. Get your points and get off home. And if you can do that, it means you've got self-control. And that is one of the hardest things to master in this business. And it's something I've struggled with. I don't mind saying I'm my own worst critic. I've struggled with self-control sometimes, but I like to think that I'm making progress. Although it may be slow progress, progress nonetheless. I have a target at 45.79. 45.79. Mate, don't say we're going down. I've got my pension in this. Right, so I'm guessing you may have something like that then, bud. Leg. Maybe a couple of legs and then another leg. It's hard to say. Trouble is, that's the thing with these charts. If you knew exactly what was going to happen next, you'd make a fortune. But you can only just try and, obviously you can only take trade based on what you see. But, once market starts to develop, we do draw bigger channels just to see if they work. They don't always work. But in all fairness there, if you look at that, it's clearly playing a part, isn't it? Up until when we had the news. As soon as the news happened, we had like a 4.3.5-4 point drop, which came back up, and then we had a bit of sideways, which broke out the top and then dropped. So whether it was because of the news, I don't bloody know. Who knows? Cheers, guys. Later. Yeah, you take it easy, mate. You take it easy. Okay, so we've got a channel down here. No arguments there. Now, what do we do here? I've been stung in these lately, so that is working kind of nice there. But I think it's sensible on my behalf to assume we've had a break. Second entry short of the EMA would be nice. Yeah, I've been stuck in these exponential before. Now, normally you go for the first swing. So that's the first swing, and I've drawn it from there, which is about as close as I can. Now, there's a little bit of break there. Now, you could include that. I did this yesterday. Do you remember? We had a tight channel and I opened it up and we pushed up and I got caught in a short and we ended up pushing up. When you looked on Mac's chart, he'd drawn it tighter. So I tend to draw these as tight as I can, especially from where I started to that first swing. And we had that push down, a little bit of sideways, and that to me is the swing. So it may well come down. But I tend to try, I think the safe bet for me at the moment, my personal policy is assume the worst. Okay. Like a lot of trading at the moment, it does seem to give you a bloody option. Shush. Shush. Dogs in my bad books at the moment. My daughter used to wear braces. She has a retainer, and we paid £190, which is about $240 for a new retainer 3 days ago. Bloody dog chewed it yesterday. So that's another £200. Shocking. The larger channel was just confirmed, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, you have to bear that in mind. See now whether that dropped, because I'm guessing it dropped because of the news, but who knows? I mean, when we had that news initially, we had that quick drop, which I'd say, based on what the 5 there, it was somewhere around about the 3.5 points, and then it pushed back up a little bit of sideways with a little break, and then it came down. Kind of glad I left that then, because it looked bloody inviting, that did. As we know, a lot of the times it'll go sideways, sideways, sideways till it hits the key entry point, and it hit the EMA and the wire and gives us a really nice strong bar, and usually that's the place then where it starts its new journey. But if you look, we had a touch here. For me, and I see this all the time, and I talk about it because my plans are to try and follow the same sort of style that Penguin trades. And we hear him talking about that all the time. We had a leg up and a channel, and then we had 2 legs of correction, and we know that. And then we have another, and usually he doesn't take that. He waits for it to be confirmed we're going up by something like that, and that's when he gets in. And if we've had a leg, the other leg will be up here. He'll usually risk 1, take 2, which may be up here. But even though we had that drop, it still pushed up, and it still didn't close below that line, even there. And when that pushed up, I didn't have the confidence to get in. It's congested, so you can't argue. And that's okay. A lot of the times it will go sideways. It did it here. It went sideways, and then when we hit this, which was where I started it, and then you could see it, off it went. But yeah, the trouble is for me is trading isn't black and white. And if I'm looking at it, and it's my fault for looking at comments, you'll have someone saying this is it, and someone saying the complete opposite. Sometimes it can mess with your thinking. I'm thinking one thing, and if somebody mentions something else, you can't sort of unread it. So it's my fault really for looking. But all you can do is trade it how you see it, not how someone else sees it, because it's never going to work. If you're basing your decisions off what other people are saying, I welcome suggestions that I think it might be like this, but sometimes people go, that's wrong or this is wrong, and you don't know it for certain. I mean, I've been trading long enough to know now there's a leg and 2 legs of correction and another leg starting by the looks of things. Yeah, but obviously the news maybe had other ideas. And I do see Matt drawing them like that as well. So if I've got it wrong, blame him. So that does look like a leg. See, it could be a leg down there. 2 legs of correction, but not quite high enough, and then another leg down. So that could be the way. Yeah, I noticed this the other day. That's something very similar. The Mac's drawn. We got this channel up here. Yeah, channel. 2 legs of correction, exactly the same as that, and it's working that line, look. And he's drawn that, even though it didn't get up to this side. But that looks like a leg and a leg. Obviously, we had the news about it, didn't we? But look, he's got that leg up there. 2 legs of correction. And you could say, well, it's only retesting these highs, so why have you drawn a bigger channel? But Mac does it, and obviously I'm watching what Mac does, but that's exactly the same I've done. We've got this channel up here, 2 legs of correction, and it's working that side. So that's completely different. I disagree. Look, we can all have our own opinions. Let's get it back. The trouble is, I don't know you, and I don't know how long you've been trading. So you're confident you're right, but I can't base my opinion on a name that, you know what I mean. And I don't miss that. I don't mean that in a nasty way. I can't just listen to someone on the stream. I have to make my own decisions. But look, let's have another little look at that. Okay, so I've got this channel here, yeah? This channel here. So Mac's got a channel there. There's a two-legged correction, okay? And there's the same there. And then I've drawn this into a bigger channel. So Mac may have had that. So, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Yeah, I don't mean in a nasty way, but you have to. You have to trade it your own way. It's the only way you learn, really, because we've all got slightly different styles. Please ignore the chat. Sorry, mate. Yeah, everyone has got their own slight different way of doing things, haven't they? But I don't know, maybe it's right, maybe it's hard to say. But for me, there was a channel with two legs and then what looked like the start of a bigger channel. Now, it may not develop the fact that it's broken. You may change it, but it's one of those things. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But we well, in that case, see, if I get rid of that, you could say there's a leg up, there's a break and a new high. Yeah? The same as Max, but then we had two legs of correction and now we're moving up. So I would have still, even if I hadn't drawn that bigger channel, there's a leg, we had a break, and we had a new high. The same on Max if you look at that, yeah? And then we had two legs of correction. And then Mac drew the same sort of thing. It is what it is anyway. You just showed of Max. Yeah, what's that? It's sort of similar in a way then, isn't it? I'm hoping we get one from Max soon. But yeah, everyone's got their own opinion. And slight different judgment, it's fair to say. And that can that can have very varied opinions, sorry. Let's have a look at it again. Let's move down a bit. So I don't mind these discussions, you know, if I can learn something, or if someone else can learn something, it's okay. So where is it? So I dare say Mac will have had a channel there, yeah? So we had a break and a new high, yeah? Two legs down. And now he's drawn this off there, which is the same as mine. We've got that channel there. Let's bring it into play a bit. Bring it down. We've got that channel there, okay? So let's say you got that channel there. We had a break and a new high. There's my channel. We had a break and a new high, yeah? I had two legs of correction, and Mac had two legs of correction, and then he drew a bigger channel off that first one, and it's working nice, which is almost identical in a way. I've gone off this first one, and it's working exactly the same. And then we had a break, and we've had exactly the same on Max. It works up there, same as mine, and then we had a break. Only difference is, by the looks of things, Max made the measured move. Ours didn't. So it almost looks exactly the same. You know. But when we had a break, I sort of took the colour out of it, took the depth out of it. But we had exactly the same thing. I had a channel with a break and a new high, two legs back, and then a move up. Exactly the same on Max. So I drew the bigger channel off based off this thing and this two legs back, which is exactly the same Mac had. So I guess you'd avoid looking at the bigger channel. That's because you're expecting another leg down after the correction. So you wait for the correction to be over and read for the reversal. Yeah, so that was a leg up to me and then a correction. I was expecting another leg up. Obviously, whether the news made a difference, it's possible. I don't know in all honesty, but maybe the news made a difference. But when we did have the news, we had that quick drop, but then it recovered. So it's sometimes the news can be a bit hard to fathom when it goes up and down. You think, well, it's either good or bad news. If it's negative, if it's negligible news, it wouldn't move anywhere. But I mean, I like having these discussions because it helps me develop as a trader, and if it helps you guys, it's okay. All right. But sometimes, and I don't mean you, I actually, I mean, there was someone on here last week and they were going on and on. It's not this, it's not that, it's not this, it's not that. And after a while, I just had to just stop the comments because it just fries your brain. There was another guy on here a month ago. He went, if you think that's a good trade, you need more time. That's not a positive thing to say. It's just negative. It's not a case of I need more time on the stream. I'm here every day in front of charts, learning. That's what I do every day. So saying if you think that's a good trade, that's just something negative and just it's picky. And they're the ones I haven't really got time for. But the conversations, I'm all right with. But it's just when people just don't bloody stop. They just go on and on. Kind of like I'm doing now, yeah? You know what I mean? But yeah, we have got, and you know what? I've had conversations with, someone said a while ago, no, it's not doing this. It looked like a triple test to me. And someone went, I put the trade in and someone went, no. And I can't unread it. So I got out of the trade. And I got out for loss of a tick. It went up exactly where I thought it was going to. Mac marked it as a beautiful triple test. So that's the trouble. We all understand these charts slightly differently. We're all at different learning levels. Some of us have just started. Some of us have been doing it a couple of years. Some of us have been doing it 4 or 5 years or longer. Okay, so we've had this channel. We've had a break. We've had a new low. So it's a bit congested. So whether it's going up or down, it looks like it could be starting to work up. But it also looks like a leg with a couple of legs and then another leg down. So at the moment, it's starting to look like it's working up. But I don't know. At least we got out that yesterday. Look at that. That's just trash, that is. Just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, that looks like a heart attack, doesn't it? If you had a heart rate like that, you'd be in serious jeopardy, wouldn't you? But look, it's just chop, constant, like that. Look at that. I got to learn, and I learned, unfortunately, I learned the hard way by getting into a trade. But I got to learn when it's doing that, just to walk away, make a cup of tea, let it carry on. But when you have a loss, and then it continues through the rest of the day, it's almost like rubbing the salt in the wounds. I forget where my trade was now. Was it here somewhere? I forget where the trade I took. We had to lay down and I forget what it was now. Anyway, but no, it is punishment, isn't it? It's just something you've got to learn. But by the sounds of things, Mac thinks this is how trading is. But from lockdown onwards, we got spoiled. Oh God, that's depressing to hear that. That's depressing to hear that this is really how trading is. Mind you, if you sit here long enough, you'll get something. But it just means you've just got to work that extra bit harder. Yeah, I just can't remember it being like this last year. May not get back to its high volume in the last 2 years. It's not even so much that it was high volume, there just seem to be more setups. We seem to have maybe one half decent day in a week, and the rest, you've just got to be... Mind you, I suppose in one way it does make you a better trader, doesn't it? Being able to sit through this lot of stuff. I like that anyway. We had that leg up. We had a break, high or low, looked like a leg and a break, a leg and a leg, which it did beautifully. So I like that one. We've had that channel down with a break, and that did look like it was bottoming. So when we had that, and the high or low, nice and positive. That was nice. That tick charts are volume based, so either tick chart them on the bars in theory, the more opportunities. Well, in that case, you would think if you went down to the 1,000 tick chart, the 500 tick chart, I mean, look at that. Surely you would think less volume, go on to 1,000 tick, effectively then that gives you twice as much volume. So you would think there will be more setups. You know what I mean? So this looks like it's going up. Second entry long there. See what I mean? Is anything down here? Not really. You would think. You know what I mean? So there was a high low. There was that one there. So it looked just as good on there, didn't it, really? You could say that was a failure, actually, but same moves, just on a smaller scale, yeah. I've got to say, sometimes I will flick over to this in the afternoon and just have a look at it and just go through it and just see if there are more setups. Because if there aren't more setups, because so many times we see, you know, the market, you know, come back to a key entry point, but there's no setup. And 9 times out of 10, it pushes up, but we have to stay out. So it does make you wonder whether you're better off switching to a slightly smaller tick time frame, having more bars, and then maybe the smaller bars will give us a setup. I don't know, because you know, we've all heard Max say that you can trade this on any time frame. You know, it wouldn't make a difference. So I don't know. Let's have a look. Okay, so Mark, let's have a look. Matt's got it like that. Yeah, see, I know what you're saying, but what I will say, we had 2 legs back. That's initially how I had it. That's initially how I had it, but then I just moved it to there because it looked like it was making a bigger channel. And the reason I moved it to there is because we had that leg up with 2 legs of correction. So where is it? Let's have a look. So that's initially how I had it. I had it as a purple channel, didn't I? But then I said, I wonder if, as it was working up, in a lot of cases, after that 2-legged correction, you'll open this up. Do you know what I mean? I had that as purple, didn't I? So I did have that. But then I opened it up, because a lot of the times we'll do that. There was no guarantees we were going to go down. And if we had pushed up to here, it could have been, and we do that all the time. We change and we adapt these channels. So if we go back here, sort of, let's say this was a channel. We start with a channel like this, and then once it breaks and has a new high and then comes down and continues high, and then you'll slowly change and adapt, and maybe that works, and so on. So we do that. And that's how I originally had it here. That's how I had it, because I had it in purple or green and that in purple. So for me, we had one leg and another leg. So I had that pegged down. Let me get rid of that now. I had that pushed down as a measured move. So that's how I initially had it. We had that and we had that, and that played out the measured move. And then when we had 2 legs of correction, a lot of the times we'll have a leg and then 2 legs of correction, and then we get another leg up. So once we start holding a line like that, that's where I start to go like that and maybe look for something bigger. And we do that. You want to see a high of max channel. Well, we did. That was the channel, yeah. We did have a high of it once we pushed up here. Now, I didn't say that was definitely a channel, but in a lot of cases when we have 2 leg corrections and we start to push up, and it looked to me like that was holding a line. And I just said, I wonder if there's something bigger there. And I moved that over there like that. And initially, I still had that channel the same, and it started to work. So for me, I just leave it there until something changes. And if you look then, it started to work up there beautiful until we had this news event, and then we had a drop. Now, if it had continued to work up to the top here, yeah, and then come down to here, that channel would have been valid. So, you know, sometimes I'll leave a channel, sometimes I'll take it away when it becomes, but that's how I initially had it. So I just try and look for just to see if there's a bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? I tend to widen the channel with the bias. With corrections, I look for smaller channels and 2 attempts to retest. You know, technically, for the larger channel, you'd want to see a new high of max, which we did after the retest. Sorry, after the 2 legs of correction. Very simple, 3 touches. Fits neatly. Your wider channel has 3 touches and it's playing off the middle. Yeah. If it follows these simple rules, you can't argue. Yeah. 3 touches. Yeah, I mean, we touched here, we just touched it a bunch of times up here. And if you look at that bar, that's why I looked at that bar. That bar, I drew this from that first swing back in, and look what happened there. And look how that bar sat there nice and bullish. But we'd had the news, and it was the reason I left that is because it was congested. But I mean, if you can see something working in a channel like that, for me, I have to leave it there until something changes, and then obviously it dropped out the bottom. But it could have continued up. So I don't bet me life on these channels. But once we had that channel, we had a break and a new high. Okay, so exactly the same as I've done here. So what did Mac do? He did the same as me. He drew it from there and said, oh, look, I wonder if there's a bigger channel here. And there was, and that's how I had it. And then we had a break of it, and then we started pushing up. So then I did exactly the same again. Okay, what about this channel? So I did exactly the same as with this channel. You start off there, and then when it breaks and has a new high, you're thinking, okay, so we had that and a break and a new high. So then Mac had that, didn't he? Then Mac drew that. Exactly the same. We had a break of it and a new high. Mac still had that. Even though you just said we only retested it, which we did, Mac still had that as a channel. So then when we had 2 legs back, and that looked to me like it was following a line, that's when I said, okay, let's do it for a 3rd time. Let's see if there's, and it sort of fits. There's different rules on how you draw. Yeah. That's what I mean. You could, because there's so much variation, that's the difficult part about trading. But we started off in that little channel, and that looked okay to me. And then we had a break of it, yeah? And then we pushed up again. Okay? So then Mac said, okay, maybe there's something working up there. And I've heard him say it on videos, and actually it kind of fits. So then we had a break, exactly the same after then. We started working up again. And the bit I liked about that break is it looked like a perfect measure. In fact, it was a perfect measure lick. So exactly the same after this channel, exactly the same Mac did. You adjust it to the next line once it continues to go up. And same again, it seemed to fit nice. And the pattern I was seeing there was a leg up, 2 legs of correction, and another leg up. And we see that all the time. And when it does make it, it quite often makes it right to the nearest tick. And I'd expect it up here, but obviously then we had the news and things change. So whether you take it away or leave it, it doesn't really matter. You know, off the retest, it's confirmed and it's correct thinking. If it had continued up and fitted in that channel, the channel would have been right. So it's preempting what the market's doing, isn't it? Yeah. and then you trade it based on what you see. You only trade it based on what you see, but it's okay to preempt it. I mean, I've watched that many videos and Matt goes, okay, so we've had a break out of him, we're pushing up. Okay, so maybe there's something bigger cooking here. I've heard him say the words. And then you draw a bigger channel. And then we had this correction and then it started working up again. So then you expand the channel again if it keeps going up. There's no guarantees, but you have to just do it. What have I missed here? You have to just do it based on how you see it. Okay, so maybe... let's bring that down to there. Okay, let's get rid of these. It's getting a bit confusing here. Prices continued trend after the retest. But here you did not, which is why it's invalid. Well, we did exactly the same there. We started off a small one, yeah, and then we broke and went to retest the top. But if you look, Max still had a channel there. And then we broke that bigger channel like that, went and retested the top. So let's get Mac's channel up here again. So I don't know, maybe there's something like that. Let's have a look. Not a massive fan. Let's have another look at it. Midday charts. Okay. Right. Okay. So there's his chart again. Yeah. Let me get mine down. Okay. So I started off with this channel here. Yeah. From here to here. It looked like a channel for me. Then we had a break of it and we pushed up. Yeah. So Mac's done that. Yeah. Now, is that channel valid? It's got multiple touches in it and they had a break. Now, if that continued to go up, I guarantee you Mac would adjust that to see if it fits because it might do. Yeah. And that's the thing, really. It's I'm getting mixed up here. What's going on here? Let's find another one. Let's go back a few days, see if we can see something else. That makes it a bit obvious. Yeah, I'm going to mess something up in a minute. Yeah, I can't explain. Yes, I mean, you start with a channel, don't you? You start with a smaller channel, and then sometimes that channel works into a bigger channel. And at the time, to me, it was looking like the channel was working bigger. Now, I left that there. Now, you said it wasn't valid. Yeah. Now, if it had continued to work up there, touch the top, touch the bottom, touch the top, it would have been valid. So I put that there based on what I thought was happening. Yeah. So, you know, obviously we had that one first, yeah, and then we had a break and we made a new high. But as it's doing this, I'm not saying it's definitely valid. Now, let's say you forget that one. I see two legs back, and I see this all the time. We have a leg, two legs back, and then we work up and we have a measured leg. And in a lot of cases, that measured leg can work into a bigger channel. I didn't say it was a bigger channel. I said it looks like it's fitting there, so maybe it's a bigger channel. There are no guarantees, but if that you said it wasn't valid when it broke and put that there, but at the time it looked like it was fitting. So if it carried on up to there and then back again, there and back again, then it would be valid, wouldn't it? So, you know, once something develops, I don't get rid of it. I just generally leave it there. Now, yeah, it's not, you know, I got to concentrate on what I'm doing because just that's where the comments just get too much sometimes. But this is the way I see it. it's come from here, and it's clearly starting to work nice. So it looks to me like it's the start of a bigger channel, which is why I drew it. I didn't guarantee it was. It looked to me, once we had 2 legs back and it was working up, it looked like there might be a bigger channel. So that's what you do. You adjust and adjust. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, that's nice chat. Any trades today? Yes, Edward, I got one, mate. That one there, we had the channel, and then we had second entry, higher low, which worked out nice after that. So yeah, I've had one. So all good. Yeah, see, a lot of the times as well, I'll see this. It'll push up there, it'll go sideways, and then it'll work up in this channel here. And then it may bounce off here and go up to the top. So sometimes it can work in these. Now, I drew the channel, not because I guaranteed it was there, because to me, it looked like it was starting to work. And that's what I do. You adjust things, you move things, but you have to do it to the way you see it. Now, if that had continued up to there, channel would have been valid. But to me, it looks like the start of a channel, which is why I did it. But I am aware that it could turn at any time. So it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, we do what we do. 2 trades for me, both winners. Good on you, mate. Excuse me. God, I don't know why people do that. I'm sick of getting those bloody join those Telegram chat things. I'm getting dozens of the damn things. Yeah, I've just looked to see if any other guys streaming have got the same sort of thing. What's it as? Black Bay. Let me just make sure I've got his volume off. See, Black Bay guy's got the same sort of thing. We had that push. Oh, tell a lie. No, he hasn't, has he? What am I thinking of? No, he hasn't. Tell a lie. That's not a good example, then, is it? Yeah, I mean, I don't guarantee it's a channel, it's this and that. I just tend to, if I see something happening, I'll just adjust things and move things around to see if it's fit. And at the time, it looked like it was starting to fit. So it's one of those things, isn't it? You are right. But if you have significant bars formation at the, then you have to start a bigger channel. Yeah. Missed so much price action. You have missed so much price action. Yeah. Greg Secker adverts. Yeah, I used to get them until I paid you £10 a month. Has he still got his fake tan and his bright white teeth? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't guarantee that's a channel. I'm not guaranteeing. All I'm saying is we've got a channel up here. We had 2 legs of correction, and in a lot of cases, we'll have another leg up, which I would pay just to get rid of. Well, that's what I did. That's what Greg Secker. Sometimes you'll see him at his holiday home in the Maldives, and sometimes his skin will be bright orange, but his teeth's always Simon Cowell white. Yeah, I mean, you say it's not valid. It may not be. The fact that that's dropped, but it looked like it was starting to. That's why I put some in there. I don't say it's definitely valid, so I'll leave it there, you know. it is how it is. So I just, I don't know what's going on here. There's nothing I would have taken in here anyway, but you know, I mean, leave it, get rid of it. I tend to just leave it because it helps me remember what I was thinking at the time, and what I was thinking at the time, it looked like we could have been working higher. There's no guarantees. I'm not guaranteeing something's right, but you do. If you see something developing, you'll try it or give it a go or see if it works or see if it fits. That's how much. Thomas Wade Discord. We all had the wider channel and then changed it to the smaller one when it pushed strong. Yeah, I mean, I just tend to leave them. Sometimes I'll get rid of them. If they're in the way, I'll get rid of them. Sometimes I'll leave them. But to me, it looked like a leg, 2 legs of correction, and then that is fitting perfectly up that line. So that tells me it's likely that this could be the start of a new channel. Now, whether it was the news that dropped that like a can or not, I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't think it was. I don't know, because when I saw that big bullish bar, that, you know, you may say that's confirmed there, but it's one of those things, isn't it? The fact that I've left it doesn't mean I think it's valid. The fact that that's what I was thinking at the time, do you know what I mean? So I would just pay to get rid of it. Yeah. It's because my channel's been monetized now. I don't have any control over that sort of stuff. Whether I'll continue to, it's paying me about $35 a month, really, which is, it's never going to make you a lot, like, but $35 for nothing, you know, pay for an evaluation, wouldn't it? And I must say, I wanted to thank all you guys who used my code for evaluation, because I had the best month I've ever had. So it's more than covered my trading this month and some. So if you have used my code this month or any months, that said, I really appreciate it. I was quite surprised last night at how much it shot up, and it's been the best month I've had. So I only work weekends, see, so that extra I get and the little bit I get when I make withdrawals give me enough to tick over. So if you use my code, it's greatly appreciated, especially this month. It was a really good month, so I appreciate that. I really do. And we are on to 50% off a retest at the moment, but it's only to the 8th. So that tells me they usually do it for a week, and that tells me we'll either go back what I think to the 80% off, or there's a possibility 90, whether they'll keep the 90 for the next holiday, which I believe is Labour Day in a month. They may keep the 90 for that, but there's 50% off a reset. So if you've currently got one, it's not much more. $40 is not much more, but if you're after a new evaluation, it's 50% off. So my advice to you is to wait a week, because I'm pretty sure it'll go back to 80. You don't want to be paying, I won't pay, I refuse to pay 50% off. Still $75. I'm not paying that. 33 I don't mind, but so my advice to you is if you can wait a week, I would, because I'm pretty confident it'll go back up to 80. Maybe second entry long. Yeah, the bit that's making me nervous is that little bit, whether you call it, I mean, it's an overshoot, isn't it? I'm just going off what I can see here. Yeah, sometimes I leave them, sometimes I delete them. I left it because it was just showing the pattern that I was taking. I like to, because I save all these, it just shows me what I'm thinking at the time, and my thoughts after that 2 legs correction is this looks like it's working up kind of nice. If you pay YouTube to eliminate the ads, it kills the ads. Is that for real? Absolutely, yeah, you get no ads at all. It's about, I pay £9.99 a month, which is about $12.50, I think. It kills all of them. For me, YouTube is part of my learning package. I use YouTube a lot in part of my learning, because obviously the YouTube, there's, you know, so yeah, you pay that little bit and it'll go. Yeah, he's annoying, isn't he? Greg Secker, yeah, he fries my bloody brain. I tried everything to get rid of him. If you search, obviously within your searches trading, he'll pay because he's got this chart or this software. I forget what it's called now. It's got something else than bars, like weird little, I don't know, funny shaped things. Your channel has a break and a new high. Yeah, I mean, you could. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah. Trouble is that sort of like fits there, so you could argue there's an overshoot and new on a drop. I don't know. So I need to focus on what I'm doing here. Okay, that's fitting quite nice. Trouble is, it's hard to say whether it's an overshoot or not, but let's assume it's a break. We have got a new high there, so that's what I mean, see. We've had a new high, so that channel's played out. Now, it may move down now, or it may continue to go higher, so then what I'll do is start adjusting things and thinking, okay, now is this, maybe this is fitting into a new channel. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Excuse me, someone mowing the lawn. Yeah, it's a bit complicated, this, because you could, it kind of works there as well. So you could say that's a bit of an overshoot there, overshoot, and maybe just a retest and then a drop. Yeah, that's the trouble when it's a bit, I mean, it touches a few times there, doesn't it? That looks to me like a bit of an overshoot. See, some cases you can get an overshoot and you can get more or less the opposite here, and then it continues on up. So it just depends which way the market's, where it's more strong. Yeah, if I'm not sure what's going on, it's starting to do that choppy stuff again. There is a possibility we could be doing a bit of this. That's possible. An overshoot, then a bit of sideways. There is a little leg. Excuse me just for a minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay, so we've had an overshoot, which may mean a reversal. And also, it's possible we've got... I'll make this a bit bigger now. There's a little bit of sideways now. One leg, two leg, possibly push up from here. I ain't getting involved in this. It's moving within a 4.4 and a quarter point from top to bottom. I need to have the patience now to sit through all this shit because I don't have a great deal of luck with great deal of confidence with. Let me just make these bars a bit fatter. Bar width, that's any better. Actually, maybe not. Width spacing. Bar space bigger. No. Okay, leg and a leg. It may work. Trouble is, we have had an overshoot, so it could come down. So, is there a downward bias? I think there may be. So, do I really want to get in on this one? I don't know. It may work. But that's an overshoot. It looks like an overshoot because it's sort of working here, isn't it? And maybe there. It looks like an overshoot, which might mean new high and then a drop. But I know technically it's not a second entry. There's your second entry, but it's certainly two legs. So I think that's risky. So if you're looking for a triple test, I wouldn't class that as a triple test. It's just going sideways before it goes up. There's your first test. That I wouldn't class. That's a second test. If it comes back and bounces again, then maybe. But because of the overshoot, it can result in a reversal. So I just don't want to get caught going along if it's coming down. So I'm quite happy that over my accounts that I'm walking away today one trade up. See, these trades, I like them when they move pretty quick. A lot of the times it'll go up, come back, go up, come back, go up, come back, go down, go up, and it'll tease you in. And then you'll get another one, it'll go up a bit, come back a bit, up a bit, and I see it so many times, then you'll jump in, you'll think, okay, it's not coming back, and all of a sudden, it bloody backtracks. Overall trend is bearish. Yeah, I'd agree with that. You know, looking on a bigger, let's have a look. Yeah, if I look on the 10,000 tick chart, it's sort of daisy chaining its way down, isn't it? And I think on a bigger chart, this may just be one small leg, mightn't it? But so I'm certainly not in the market for longs just at the moment. That's not to say it's not going to work, but yeah, see what I mean about that? It'll go up a bit, and it'll drop, bounce off here, it'll push up again. You know, it's a tick off being quite bullish, and then it'll go up a bit more, it'll go up a bit more, and it teases you in, and then all of a sudden, look. Now, it might bounce, but I don't know. These markets, I think, are designed to suck traders in, aren't they? Now, I read somewhere in a book multiple times about how people feel. That's almost definitely going to stop that out. How people feel when they're trading, and one of the feelings that they talk about is that the market's out to get you, and they say it's not. Well, I actually disagree with that, because I think the algorithms in the ES are designed to be incredibly efficient and to go after stops. So to say the market's not out to get you, I think that's an incorrect statement personally, because I think the market is out to get you. I think the market's out to look for weak points and stop you out. So whether that'll hold or not, so you can't deny that looks like two legs down. We're pushing up at the moment. Now, whether you class that as an overshoot, it's hard to say. It doesn't mean we're going to come down, but it means it can result in the reversal. But the market is efficient, and it's designed to make money and to look for weak points. And if you took that trade, look at that. Now, whether it'll hold or not, I doubt it. But them saying, you know, don't start you. Well, there you go. Don't start thinking that the market's out to get you, because it's not. I actually think it is, personally. Okay, so that's now stopped out there. So in all fairness, it's clearly working along here. And you may say, it looks like two legs down. It's sitting on here. Maybe it's touches. Maybe you go along there and nice job on your win lands. Thanks, Chris. How are you, mate? How you doing? It's bad, isn't it, now when you're getting congratulations on a winning trade? It's like winning trades are so bloody hard to get nowadays. Let's have a look. Yeah, you'd have squeezed a point out of there, but no more. In my opinion, though, it's working down. So as far as I'm concerned, that's just a trap, really. Well, the market. But let's have a look. Are we getting some move down? But my overall thoughts on the market is it's the overall for me is you look at these tops and they're lower, and you might say, well, you got all this in between. That doesn't really matter. The bigger picture, it's clearly sort of working down. So this will be interesting. Let's see if anybody goes long here, because they might trigger above and then drop short. So it would drop. Let's have a look. So if it is going to push up, that might be a bar where if you want to go long, that you might take. For me, we've had an overshoot, retest, and made a new high. This, like, it looks like it could be a channel down. So if you bought into that, I would say this may be coming down. So we'll see. Okay, folks, my wife's just turned up. So I'm just going to take a couple of minute break. And I will be back. Let's just pop that there. 2 minutes. Okay, sorry about that. Excuse me. Back in 5 minutes. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, okay, see what I mean about that? Bouncing off the bottom, you took that one, you got stopped out, you might have thought, well, yeah, even better one, triggered above you, came down, stopped you out. That's why I wouldn't have gone long, you know, because a lot of the times, depends how you might. Trouble is, because of all this, you could have, you may have your channel like that. It doesn't look right, but you may consider that a break. And I used to. So you see, all 2 legs down, oh yeah, let's go long here. And obviously, it didn't work, but. So whether you. It's a bit small and sideways and a bit odd, isn't it? But yeah, that's the type of trade I used to get stuck in, thinking about going long. But yeah, trading's not easy. I'm forever learning. And Max said again last night, it's not easy, it takes time, it's a real skill. And it's a skill I've only been doing for a little over 2 years. So, you know, Sod's Law, or the law of averages said I shouldn't be consistently making money out of it by now. Because it takes time. So, it's just one of those things. These bars just seem a bit piddly. Bar width. No, wrong way. Bar width. Why does this look a bit different? Bar spacing. Increase the spacing. Increase the spacing. Oh. Whatever, that'll do. After fail, second entry long. Yeah, see, second entry long, that wouldn't have been a bad one to take that. I think the reason I didn't get involved in it, because when I saw this happening, it looked like it may be going sideways for a time. But that looks, with the break and a new low there, so that looks like it's working kind of nice in there, along here. A little bit of sideways with a break and a new low, so it is choppy again, I got to say. It's not. Why does my chart look a bit different today? You took the lower high short after the failure. The lower high short. Let's have a look. See, that was the failure, wasn't it? So try once that was a failure. The lower high short. That one there. Oh, you took that, did you? Ah, so you got triggered and stopped out. Did you get anything out of it? Or you wouldn't have done, would you? Is that what you mean, bud, is it? I think that's what you mean. Yeah, so you got taken out, did you? You know, a lot of the times I'll give it one extra tick. And that would have helped you there. Now, you would have been there. So that extra tick would have, you took that failure, but my stop was at 46.03. Oh, you took that one, did you? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, see see what I mean about that extra tick. It works sometimes, and it usually works in trends. Because yeah, we've heard Max say a lot of the times it will come down there, it'll come back up, stop you out for one tick, and then go in the same bloody direction. So that's why sometimes you'll see me move an extra tick, and in that case, it would have worked. But it doesn't always, and you know, I do ask myself the question: is it worth it? I should start marking it, how many times I moved it and how many times it worked. But if it saved you, so if you took that, what is that? It's 2.5 points, tick above, tick below, so it's 3 points. So one tick is an extra $12. So 3 points. So you'd have to do it 12 times. So any less than 12 times would work. So yeah, not everyone does it, but I have heard Max say it once or twice, at least one tick above the signal bar. Whether it was just how he termed it, I don't know. Without the break. I looked at that, but then it touched here and here, so let's have a look. See, normally you go with the first two swings. I see Mac doing them, and that first two swing would be there. And the trouble is, if you don't do it there, let's have a look. If you don't do it there, I always, and you'll hear me say this, I always like to assume we've had a break, because if we get a second entry here and it goes up and stops me out, based on what I can see here, it's because there's already been a break and a new low. So, and don't get me wrong, I didn't even listen to my own voice yesterday, because do you remember that trade I took? It was like this, but I extended it a bit and I went short, and we'd already had a little break. So, and I've got to say, as odd as some of Mac's channels look, he always goes off those first two swings. Let's have a look. Hope it will continue down. It looks like it's going to continue down. So it may be, it's hard to say. But do you know, also, it might not necessarily, the big, it might be we're just having a break out of this. I don't think it is, because obviously I think we've concluded. Why is this chart looking a bit different? The bars just look a bit fiddlier. Something like that. Flimsier. Bar width. Okay. Spacing. Why is that done like the spacing should be bigger? Oh no, that's pissing me off now. Hold on a minute. Bar width. Okay. That's all right. Okay. Let's put that there. Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I always like to try and assume we've had a break. That way I don't get caught out. But if I look at that, where's that trade I took yesterday? Yeah, here's my yesterday's chart. That channel there, I had it to incorporate that, and then we had two legs up. Do you remember? I didn't take that first red bar because it was too far for the EMA, but when we pushed up and we didn't break above it, I thought, okay, there's some stops up there, maybe it's holding. And we came back down, and I jumped in here, and it triggered me and pushed me off, pushed me up. But I had that drawn. I changed it in the end. That's, I believe, is to be correct. I opened it up and incorporated that one. So what I try and do is assume it's had a break and a new low. That way I don't get caught in the wrong direction. But I went against my own policy there. But it's all part of the learning, isn't it? It's all part of learning. You make mistakes. This stuff doesn't come overnight. It takes quite a few years really to start coming, and then you just seem to just keep improving. But yeah, I like to just sort of assume, let's say Mac always talks about these first two swings, so we've gone from there, and that's that first swing. So if I'm going from those two swings, it kind of fits nice here, and we've had a break. Now, when you have a break, a lot of the cases you'll make a new extreme. Now, see how this is going sideways? We could be pushing up now. But that's what I mean. If we push up to the EMA and I take a short here, it may trigger me and trap me. And the reason would have been is because we've already made a break. Now, this looks like it also could be a measured leg. So, and that, strangely enough, how close is that? Right, look at that. Leg down to there. A couple of legs up, a leg down again, and that's going sideways, so that could push up a bit now. But I'm aware I'm not thinking about going short at see that's fitted to the nearest tick that. And because I've adjusted this and kept it to those first two swings, sorry, that first swing, I go with the assumption that we've had a break and a new low, so I don't get caught going short. Not that it's not going to continue short, it could do. The measured move does fit quite nice, yeah. So many times I'd keep adjusting and keep adjusting. Now, if I adjusted it to that and we had two legs to the EMA, I'd be thinking about going short. And if it triggered me and went long, why did I lose the trade? I lost it because I missed that. So it fits really nice with those two bars there and kind of nice with that green one. So I think sometimes it's always best to assume the worst. In other words, you've had a break and it may not continue down. But the way this is forming, it looks like it's bottoming, it's going sideways, and we've hit that one, so it may I don't know, go back into here or what. I still think the overall is bearish, so it could give you a second entry and it could continue down. There's no guarantees, but I always like to, and that's just out of losing and cocking up. You lose and cock up and you start to learn why you lost. So there's that first two swings, and then if you look at there, it actually fits kind of nice there, and it's coming away, isn't it? There, it's losing. You know, it's sort of moving that way. I think second entry short is risky. Yeah, see, I wouldn't be thinking about second entry short because if you go with what Max says, these two, that would be a break and a new low. So I've got that in mind, and I've also got the fact that we're going a bit sideways. We haven't come back over. It looks like it's bottoming the way that's pushing up. There's our break. There's our new low. Perfect measured leg. And then maybe we're moving into this channel, and maybe we're going to continue down. I'm still with you, mate. I think the overall is bearish, but that could change. It's possible, but at the moment, I still think we're going to come down. So the overshoot there, that happened first, and then we had a bit of a drop here, and then we made a new high, and then we started working down, which is what can happen with an overshoot. So we've had a leg down, and we've had a little break and another leg down, so then we're moving up. So it does take time to learn these charts. They're really easy, and sometimes when you think you're just managing to get the hang of them, you have a bad day, and it's like, what is going on? I hope this doesn't feel this difficult forever. Because sometimes you can feel like you're a little lad in a man's world, you know what I mean? I didn't think that was an overshoot, though. That there, yeah, it's the reason I put it like that is because I always like to assume that it may have done this. Now, I know, and I've heard Max say, overshoots can result in a reversal. In this case, it looks like it may have done. Now, if I incorporated that, I may be inclined to take that bar, you see what I mean? And it triggered you and then started dropping. And then you may have thought, oh, break, let's go long here. And it triggered you and started dropping. You may have think one leg down, two legs down, nice big bullish bar, go here, it triggered you. You wouldn't have quite got a point, and then it stopped you, which telling me it's working down and just trapping out some longs. But I mean, the more you trade these markets, the more you realise how bloody efficient they are and how clever these algorithms run this system. And obviously, you've got to compete with the algorithms. I like to think I'm following the lines of the more experienced traders as opposed to keeping, competing with the algorithms. But you've really got to go for strong positions, strong positional trades in this market. And if you wait patiently and take the really strong positional ones, I like to think then the experienced guys are in them as well, and that obviously gives the market its strength and it pushes off. Because the really nice setups, they just move. They don't go for 1 point or 2 points. They move. Humans versus robots, I know, yeah. Yeah, we've cut our own throat now. It's too late, isn't it? I mean, it is feasible. Robots are doing, I mean, you look at some of these. I watched something on Discovery Channel the other day in the Ferrari factory in Italy. It's all robots. It's robots that assemble them, robots that paint them. Yeah, it does make you. We're sort of doing ourselves out of a job, really, aren't we? So whether they'll get, I don't know, whether it'll ever end up like iRobot, who knows? I hope I'm dead and buried by then. Yeah, we have. We've all seen the movie. It doesn't end well, does it? I like to think though. What's his name? Now we know he's quite a tough guy in real life, Will Smith, and we know in real life he can slap pretty hard. So I like to think if we ever get done in by robots, Will Smith can slap a few of them. Drink and party on the beach. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be nice. I do hear quite a few people on YouTube talking about the bots, using bots for trading. So I don't know how accurate they are. Some people use them. But I believe, excuse me just a second. Yeah, I believe they take lots of little small trades, I think, don't they? But I don't fully understand how they work. Okay, so we had a drop down here, which I kind of expect, because I'm still thinking down. Runner will survive. You gone long up there, have you? I am thinking bearish, so I think it's likely we could. Let me just see if there's any type of a channel working there. Let's go from this side, I think. Okay, so I don't know, maybe by the end of the day it's just a little bit too adventurous for me at the moment, that. But we do seem to be doing this, don't we? But we are holding at the moment. So that, I mean, that is a little bit lower than that. So it's a leg. Maybe, in fact, this might be one of those penguin moments. We've had a leg down. We've made 2 attempts to go higher. And as I'm thinking bearish, and we've had this leg down, if we make 2 attempts to go higher, I would then expect things to push down lower. Sorry. You know, so I've not paid too much attention to Bookmap today, so I don't know, perhaps it's not playing as much as a part as I thought. I've just had a quick glance of it. There is a little bit of liquidity down there, but trouble is, because we only go for a couple of points, I don't think Bookmap is as important. If you're going for bigger swings, then I think it plays much more of a part. No, it didn't. It'd be nice to have 2 attempts, though. So although that is a break and a new low, it's still sort of a leg down, so it'd be nice to have a 2-leg correction or 2 attempts to go higher, followed by another leg. So there's a first leg. Second leg could take us leg up. So it's possible we could get down there at some point in the day. Yeah, looking on Bookmap, I can't see anything down there at the moment. Tell a lie, there is some at 80. There's 307 orders at 80, so it's a possibility. We got a leg. It's sort of like 2 legs of correction. I'd have expected another leg up there, to be honest with you, but whether it was to do with the news or whether the bigger picture, it was destined to turn at that point, it's possible. So, Yeah, we are sort of daisy chaining down, aren't we? But these sort of loops are getting a little bit smaller, so whether something's holding prices there, so it's sort of like a downward wedge. So I'm not really a pattern guy, so I don't know really what happens in scenarios like that. Sometimes they'll break out to the top and then drop, or sometimes they'll I don't really follow that style of trading where I use those anymore. Okay, so leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. It would make sense if it retests that bottom and then drops, doesn't get back in there. So this is not a trade I'm going to take. This is a trade I'm just going to mark, just because I am sort of following the penguin guy, and this is the type of trade he'll talk about. We got a leg down. We made 2 attempts to go higher, and it's sort of like a second entry short on a bigger scale. Interesting. So leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. Let's see if this finishes bullish, and if it does, I'm guessing this is. I'm not going to take a trade, but it's. I'm going to mark it just as the type of trade I believe the penguin guy is likely to take. Yeah, trouble is, there's your first entry, there's your second entry, really, isn't it? I'll see. Maybe it's going to move up a bit higher. Yeah, this sort of wedge pattern is starting to come to a conclusion, isn't it? I don't really follow wedges, so I don't know why they. We are starting to get this, aren't we? Somewhere along the lines of that. I don't know. Do these tend to break out and then drop? I'm unsure. I do follow cryptos and I do trade a bit of cryptos. I more wait for a dip and then buy them, as opposed to sort of trade them. And I do look at patterns from time to time, but as I don't use them in my day to day, I don't tend to pay much attention. So. Okay, so if this continues to come down, I'm guessing the penguin guy may take this leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. First attempt, second attempt didn't get as high, so I'm just going to put a little mark if that does finish bullish, which I think it's probably likely to do. See, we wouldn't really take this because you can't consider that as a lower high because it's sort of an inside bar. It doesn't mean it's not going to come down. But it could continue up. That's possible as well. But my overall of the markets is it's bearish. We've got this leg down. Okay, leg and a break. Doesn't really matter. It's a leg down. 2 attempts to go higher. Okay, this for me is where the penguin guy will take his trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark it. So I don't know whether I'm just trying to think whether he'll wait for another bar to finish. I don't know. This is why I don't take his trades. I just kind of just monitor them. So there's one tick. So maybe he'll take it one tick below there. I would have thought so. It's pushed through the EMA and it's finished bearish. So I would have thought, so whether he'll take this for 2 to 1 or not, possibly not, because the bottoms are down here. But we have had a leg, and if we have 2 legs of correction, you could expect another leg down. So whether he'll go 1 to 1 here or 2 to 1, I'm not quite sure. This is why I'm just monitoring the types of trades he'd take rather than taking them. Jeffy, hey Lance, are you using Bookmap with the system? I do use Bookmap, yeah. That's it there. But what I will say is I think it's more valuable if I'm going for bigger moves. But it does keep me out of the odd trade. So if I was thinking about going short there and there was a lot of liquidity above me, I probably wouldn't. And it has saved me a bit. But I think the real benefits to Bookmap is if we got a leg down here with a 2-leg correction, I'm coming in here and expecting to get out down here close to the move of, okay, so that seems to be working nice, close to the move of the other leg. So I think it's more valuable then personally. And that's just from having it on the screen and glancing it and trying to figure out what's going on. But a lot of times it'll go up to these levels and not quite hit them. Sometimes it'll smash through them. But it just gives me the idea where money is, and obviously price is working towards money. Okay, so this is working down like I thought it would do. So the only thing I don't know is he going for 1 to 1 here, or will he be going for 1 to 2? I'm guessing as we've got the lows here, he'll want to get out before these. So I'm assuming it'll be 1 to 1. So we've had this leg down there. We made 2 attempts to go higher. Failure, as he'd say. And we seem to be moving down. So that's where I'd expect that to get to. And we've had that leg down. So I would expect to get below here. But really, if you do 2 to 1, you're going to be down here, which is too low in my opinion. So this is a 1 to 1 trade. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's a 2 3/4 point profit, 2 3/4 point risk. You may even shorten that a touch. Yeah, still about 11 ticks, I think. Okay, so far so good. Now this looks like a bottoming pattern, so if it gets below this bar here, this area, I expect it to hit that a little bit quicker. Because with the bottoming pattern, this may, as we've had a break, there may be some longs in there. Maybe not as much as I'm thinking because it's a bit congested. But I would say there may be some long stops here. So if we do push below that, that's only a couple of 3 ticks below, so I expect that to push through a little bit quicker. But let's bear in mind there may be a measured leg there. Hopefully that takes us... actually, it's not quite as low as this. Yeah, I can't take that up any higher. He goes for 1 to 1, and that's where he'll put his order. There's nowhere else he would put it. He wouldn't put it higher. He wouldn't move his stop. So that is it for a 1 to 1. But once it gets below here, I expect it to to hit that. Now, I believe we're bearish, and there may be some longs in here. So we'll see. I don't mind this being a bit bullish and maybe trapping some longs. Okay, triggered above. Let's see what happens now. If that hits the stop for that, I would expect it to hit that 11 tick target. Yeah. So there'll probably been some longs that have bought that. Probably there. I'm guessing their stops will be below there. The trouble is our stops are one tick. Other traders, there might be more. So sometimes when it ticks one tick and doesn't do much, I think, oh, maybe I've got it wrong. But then when it ticks one or two more, you get a bit of quicker move. But this looks like it could trap to me. And that's what I'm banking on. You know, we've got a leg down, a little bit of a pullback. Pullbacks are okay. Pullbacks are all important part. Nothing just goes up. It always goes up in sections, go up, profits, up, profits. So the fact that that's triggered, which I assumed it would do, hopefully it'll push below there. And if it does hit the stops there, I expect it to hit that. We'll see. Now, see whether the penguin guy will take that because he can't get one-to-one before these lows is another thing. So it's not black and white he trades, which is why I don't take his trades yet. I just mark them and try to learn from him. But I do like the fact that he gets an average profit of 6 points a day just from taking a couple of trades on average. But this does look like a leg and a leg, or it could be a leg and a leg. We'll see. Okay, this is looking quite positive anyway, so I like that. Leg down, a little bit of a pullback. So what I'm going to try and do is every time I mark one of these that the penguin takes and I get it right, I'm going to print the sheet out for the day and just mark it up, my thoughts. And when I'm getting these right, I don't know, 80% of the time, something like that, not just the one-to-one, sometimes the one-to-twos, then I may introduce them. Maybe one of my accounts rather than trade the whole thing on that and then see how I get on there, because you can't just... It's the same sort of principles that Mac takes, but slightly on a slightly bigger picture. But from what I can see of the penguin guy, he's very good at it. But I'll still obviously take the same trades, the same Pat's trades, just, with a slight extra angle or a slight extra string to my bow, shall we say. So it's okay having a little pullback. It's not a fight. The stop's up here out the way. If that stop loses its integrity, then the trade wasn't valid, and I'm assuming the reason might be he may not have taken it because there wasn't enough room before these lows to get out. Now, if you'd have gone down to the lows, you'd have probably been okay, or one tick above the lows, you'd have been okay, but that wouldn't give you your one-to-one now. So in that case, he may not take it. I don't know. It'll be interesting. So I'm going to compare my chart with his, and if he does take that trade, and we'll see how we get on. Ryan, I drew my overall channel down, and that pivot swing at the key entry point, something my 2 points there. Frustrating thing is, on YouTube, it puts a little icon right above you. Has it got? Oh, I got 2 points. I drew my channel. You put it there, did you? Is that what you mean? Yeah. Second entry short. I'm assuming. What did you take though? What bar did you take there, bud? I drew my overall channel. Drew from the beginning. Oh, beginning of the day. I've looked at that just to see if so where did you go from? Where did you go? There. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of it, I have to say. I'm assuming you would probably go with a little bit of a spiking channel. Yeah. I don't think I could trade it based on that. Yeah, it's just too, I mean, if we can, I mean, it fits within it, but you know, if I drew it like that, it fits within it, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't give me a great deal of confidence. That's something I may draw later on in the day if we push down to this level and then maybe bounce up. But at the moment, I think you just got to take it based on the smaller stuff. I've got myself into trouble with the bigger stuff a little bit too soon, so we'll see. Okay, so far so good. This is still working. We've had this channel down, yeah, with the break, but it's by the by. We've had a leg down anyway, as the Penguin calls it, and then we've had made two attempts to go higher. The first one, second one didn't get as high. Nice big bearish bar through the EMA. The fact that it doesn't touch that, I don't think that makes a difference to him. That's where he'd open the trade. That's where his stop would be, and that would be 1-to-1. So whether he would take this based on not enough room out to these lows, whether he would take that or not, I don't quite know. Right to predict the 50% off. Yeah, that's what they did last time. They tend to do that. They go from the 80 to the and the reason I got the email this morning and it said up until the 8th, which tells me they do it for a week, and then I bet hard money that they're going to go back to the 80% off, because that's how they seem to do. And the trouble is, I think they've cut their nose off to spite their face a bit. No one's going to pay 50% off, and I know that because as an affiliate, when the price is at 50%, I sell well, I say I sell. I get you guys buy them and I get a small commission, and that hardly moves with the 50% off. But when you do the 80% off, it's like 10-to-1. So that's where they make money, because people will trade. You know, if I was paying $75, I wouldn't be trading 10 contracts on an evaluation. But obviously, the cheaper they are, the more risk people will take. It's just common sense. That's how. This is interesting. That's how human beings think. This is going to fail. This, so that's why I don't take these yet. I'm just I'm waiting for the 90% off 10 accounts. Okay, so that wouldn't have worked. I'm going to leave that there just so I can have a look at his trade later, his chart later. So I would say I've got the CEM trading holiday, and the next holiday we got is 1st to the 5th September, which is Labor Day, which is basically in 4 weeks, for just over 4 weeks. So I would guess the 90% may be a little bit before then, but over that week. So we may have the 80% off for a fortnight, and you can usually tell, because if we get the 80% off and they say it's for 2 weeks, I'm guessing at the end of that 2 weeks, they may have a week of resets again, cheaper resets, and then 90% off, I'm guessing. Now that's frustrating, that is, because that went up, touched that order. You know what frustrates me is the second it touches your order, it stops you out. But to click your stop, your profit, it doesn't touch it. It's got to push through it. It bloody annoys me, that. So yeah, see, this is a leg down. There's the 2 attempts to go higher. And this is, see, may not have taken that one because there wasn't enough room to the lows, so that's okay. I'll leave that there just so I can have a look at his so that with overflow volume profile, you would see it was support at 49.95. It reversed. Overflow and volume profile. You need to talk to me a bit more about that, mate. Are overflow and volume profile one of the same things, are they, bud? Yeah, see, we don't tend to use them. I'm happy to look into things, which is why, I look at Bookmap from time to time. See, what I will say is at Bookmap, there are a lot of sell orders at 600. So whether there'll be stops, which is why maybe it did turn, I don't know. But I'm not trading this. This is just I'm trying to identify the types of trades that the Penguin guy takes. He does lose. I think his hit rate may be around about 85%. Order flow, volume profile. Akitri, are they the same thing or separate? Now, I know what order flow is. Volume profile, I'm not so sure about. I need to do a little bit of searching around, I think. Yeah, so that was looking okay. So, be interested to see if he put his stop 1 ticker. Volume profile works with PATs and the 2K chart, does it? How do you get it, mate? You pay for it extra. Is it like a buddy of mine, Marlon, used it for a bit. What's the website? Is it GOM? GOM, is it? GOM order flow. GOM footprint chart. That's it, isn't it? Gominators. That's the thing, isn't it? I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, I am going to have to look into this. 14-day free trial. Yeah, see, I kind of get what's. Let me just move it out of the way. I kind of get what's going on. You've got obviously a red bar with a stem, then you've got a green bar, and obviously these are the orders within there. So I don't fully sort of understand what's going on, but what I will say is wherever I see these institutional guys, they all tend to use that type of GOM is good, yeah. You can use the inbuilt Ninja, can you now? Do you mean just on the what do you call it? You get like a channel here, don't you? Is that what you mean? Where is it? Ninja has volume profile, does it now? I'll have to look into it. With a lifetime account, does it now? I've got a lifetime account. Although I don't use it because I use Apex's. But yeah, I've got a lifetime license. I paid £1,000 for it about 2.5 years ago. 2 years ago. I'll have to look into that. Let me take a quick photo of your comments there, so I'll look back later. Yeah, see, trading PATs, I don't know whether any of it makes a difference because we go for small. But obviously here I'm just looking at what the Penguin guy does. Leg, 2 attempts to go higher. Maybe wouldn't have taken that one because he wasn't out before the lows. I think I might have heard him say that. So I'll leave that there and I'll have a look later. Sellers loading up at 98. What's give you that information, Dr. Lilly, just out of interest? Okay, so maybe there's something bigger. Oh, and strangely enough, that kind of works, doesn't it? Touch there. Now, just from my friends out there, I'm not saying that's definitely right. Something very similar to what I had before. We had a leg down, we had a couple of legs up. Maybe this is working down. So, well, 1, 2, 3, depending on how that finishes bearish, you could say that's 3 touches, and it kind of is. But what I'm seeing is a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher, or a correction, whatever you want to call it, and another leg down here. So I'm not saying it's definitely right. I'm just saying there's a possibility there could be a bigger trade, a bigger channel working down. So let me just change the color out a little bit. I'm just using order flow, volume, profile in addition to seeing levels of interest. Trading Max system. So Akitri, what do you use for order flow? Do you use Ninja Traders, or do you use like the GOM, whatever it is that I just had up? Footprints. There's a bunch of sellers at 98. Yeah. So I'm just wondering whether right, I can see sellers at 98, but I can see lots of other sellers. There's sellers at 99.75. There's sellers all the way down, but the biggest sellers I can see are the 45.99. Is that right? 45.99, which is here. Leg. Mike Schwartz. Thanks for that, Steve. I know there's another guy as well, another trader that does one. Let me have a look. Let me just take a photo of that one. Where is it? Mike Schwartz channel. Let's have a look. I take photos of these comments and then have a look later. Footprint just like Delta by price. Right, nice. Anything that might keep you out of a trade or give you a little bit more confidence to get in a trade. So maybe we are, maybe this is a channel. I'll tell you what I'll do. Once I've finished with the channel, let's just zero it out. So it's there, but so we had a channel down there, a little break and a new low, push up, a couple of attempts to go higher. It beat that by 1 tick, but it is doing what I expected it to do. So Akitri, what is the software you're using, bud? You're using order flow volume profile. Who's that through? Is that with the who I've just mentioned, the GOM or whatever it is? Excuse me, let me just let my dog in his whine. Okay, nothing really here. It's just a bit congested. It's in fact, let's just let's get rid of that. It's just in the way a bit, isn't it? I'm just going to put a little mark. I'll tell you what. Let's just put a little bar, a little square around it. That's what I was looking at with the penguin guy. Let's open him up a bit. It's okay, leg down, maybe another leg down. Not guaranteeing it's right, but we touch. So we touched 3 times, so let's say so. Does look like we are moving down. As I say, the overall for me is bearish. It's clearly sort of looping, isn't it? Once we get below here, obviously the bearish scenario will be come back to that. Let's get rid of that. Let's clean this up a bit. That's a bit better. I'm closing for the day. Yeah, don't blame you. Got one trade. Absolutely. In these current climates, one trade's a solid day, in my opinion. Good on you, mate. Let's just get back to that for now. It may be starting to just go a bit sideways and get a bit choppy. Corporation buyers and sellers don't put their market orders ahead, so they come. So they want the bloody icon in front of the last word. Book map and order flow can't see ahead. They do something called, what's it, don't they? What's it called? High frequency trading. I was watching a program actually on YouTube yesterday about that guy that caused the crash. It was a British guy, the guy that caused the S&P crash. I think it was 2010. It turned out he had Asperger's or something. He was making money as a trader, and I think he'd made 200 million relatively quick. I think he was making 800,000 a day in some cases, but I think he'd made 200 million, and I think he was doing that spoofing. I think he was dropping orders in and then taking them out. I watched bits of it. I'm going to watch the rest of it tonight. But they let him off in the end. He worked with FBI and whatever the markets or something, but he was quite a clever guy. But yeah, he caused that massive crash. What was it? Something like 9%? Was it 11%? Drop on the S&P in one day, something like that. I forget his name now, but it was interesting. It was an interesting program to watch. He'd got something like 50 million locked into his accounts, and he was still living with his mum in a little house in the suburbs of London. He's a young Indian lad with a sort of real gift for markets. Interesting. So it does seem like there may be a little bit more sideways. See where this ends up. In fact, what I'll probably do is take that to there. That actually incorporates that as well. Okay, so we've got touch, touch, touch. Touch. Okay. Maybe a little bit of sideways for a while. This might be the rest of the day, well, at least for a while. But I don't mind, I'm up nice for the day. So, certainly more or less covered my losses yesterday, all by $25. So, at the moment, the way things are, if I can end up 3 clear trades up in a week, maybe 6 points of profit in a week, I'm considering myself quite happy with that at the moment. Because there's a lot of sitting around through a lot of crap. So what I will say, I think your first trade of the day needs to be super important, because if it is, that can dictate how the rest of your days. I got to say, yesterday I was just in a bit of a bad mood. Yesterday I just couldn't. I was peed off because I was looking to try and get me trade back, and then we were sat through a load of chop. It was almost like punishment. It just put me in a bad mood last night. Up until we sort of won the cricket in the end, although we drew the overall. But I was in a really snotty mood, I've got to say. I was snapping at everyone a little bit. I was frustrated because I was trying to get me winnings back from me one stupid ass trade. But it does. How your trading does dictate what your evening's like. And if you have a nice Friday, your weekend's kind of relaxing. If you have a crap Friday. And I hope I can deal with this a bit better. Well, it's not that I'm bad, really, but it just can make you frustrating. I hope things get easier the longer I've been trading. I might knock it on the head there. I'm not getting in this. It's moved in within a 4 point, something like that, 4 points. You're just going to get chopped up here unless you're scalping a tick or two. So I'm going to knock it on the head there, guys, actually. Not a terrible day. The trouble is, if someone's lost 2 trades, it's a terrible day. I've got exactly the same chart, and I've made 1 trade, so it's been a good day. So I think 1 solid trade in today's current climate is not a bad result. Anytime, Chris, no problem. But I don't want to get involved in this. This is where you get damaged. You can't trade this unless you're a bloody expert, because you just get chopped up. There's trap after trap. And it's just punishment. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lenny. Yeah, so you've just got to wait till we had these moves. We had a move up there, a couple of legs back, higher low, and that worked out lovely. So that was the trade for the day. Exponential, my pleasure, mate. So that's it for today. It's Wednesday tomorrow, so halfway through the week tomorrow. But at least I've covered yesterday's losses. So if I can get another couple of trades now, 2 to 3 trades up before the end of the week, it won't be bad. So that's what I saw today. Yeah, I know we had some different discussions. I tend to leave it because it's what I was thinking. But obviously, you can say it's valid, it's not valid. It's clearly working within there, but a valid trade to go along, obviously no. But it's what I saw. We had a leg up, 2 legs of correction. I expected from what I was seeing it was going to work high, which is why I adjusted that now. Just because I left it there doesn't necessarily mean it's a valid channel. It belongs there, but it's just my thought process when that was happening. So, but now from this, it's, this wasn't too bad. We moved quite fluently. And once we're at the top here, from here onwards, for the last, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, it's just gone crappy and sideways. Good on you, mate. Good on you. That'll do. Green's green, innit? If you can get on a green day in this current climate, it means you're competing with the big boys, so you've done a good job. So good on you. So that's it for today, folks. I'm going to go and have me tea, put my foot up, relax with a nice green evening. So have a great evening. If you're trading any longer, good luck. I hope the setup comes your way. Otherwise, I will be back here same time tomorrow, and we will do it all again. So have a great evening, stay safe, and we will talk tomorrow. Bye for now.